How to use tens of and hundreds of. If I'm not mistaken, tens of means 10 to 99 and hundreds of means 100 to 999. Is this correct? I found in some dictionaries that tens of is actually not correct. I also found that hundreds of could also mean any arbitrary large number. So how would people usually interpret hundreds of? Based on context. In my case, I want to describe numbers of some items that are usually 50 to 90, but sometimes could be around 100 to 200, but definitely not as many as 300 or so. I want to really emphasize that there are a lot of these items. In this case, can I say, have tens or even hundreds of? Would people misinterpret what I actually want to say?
In English, one would normally say dozens of rather than a tens of, so there is some overlap. I might use dozens of for an amount between 36, a dozen, 2 dozen, dozens, and 132, a dozen less than a gross scores of for a number between 40 and 199, and hundreds of for values greater than that. I don't think I've ever thought about the reasoning behind this. It would really depend on which number sounded better in the areas which overlap.
As I understand it, the usage is tens of, rarely used, as many as XX might be more appropriate. Hundreds of, any number from 100 to 999, more than 500 might be more appropriate for numbers greater than 500. Thousands of, any number from 1000 to 9999. Tens of thousands of, any number from 10,000 to 99,999. Hundreds of thousands of, any number from 100,000 to 999,999. After 250,000, it is more appropriate to use quarter, half and three-quarter million.
I have only heard of tens used in tens of thousands, otherwise scores is used. Scores being 20 to 199. And hundreds is plural, so it would be 2001999.
When describing victims of a disaster, tens of usually means less than 100 or a bit more, and hundreds of can mean up to 1,000 or a few more. Hundreds of dead could be over 1,000, but the results are still unsure. Hundreds of and thousands of are more common than tens of, but if I heard the statement, I would expect tens of to be 30 to about 120 or so. A more common phrase for the same general amount is dozens of.
You can use hundreds of in sentences like the following. It costs hundreds of dollars. An unknown number, probably in the hundreds, had already been lost. Hundreds of letters poured in. In the last sentence, hundreds of is used to mean an unspecified large number. Similarly, you can use tens of, except in sentences like the last one.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking,